and medium enterprises, it's backbone of European economy. And cashless payments is something what could be useful for SMEs because it reduces costs of cash handling, and that's important. From the other side, we have to think about various groups of people. Some people even don't have bank accounts. They have no digital skills. And also, which is very important, it's privacy. Some people just want to be private. They just don't want to be persecuted by somebody knowing everything, what I eat, where I go, etc., etc. This is a very important issue. And we have to think about cybersecurity. We have a lot of cyber attacks on various SMEs and various institutions. So, and this discussion this morning is a very good start also for European Commission, who has to elaborate a strategy for SMEs, for cashless payments. And of course, we are members of European Parliament. We are very much ready to help.
It was a great pleasure for me to be a participant of this very important event, as we are in a time of change in a lot of areas. One of the changes will be, do we pay in cash in the future, or do we pay with credit cards or with new technologies? And I think especially for SMEs it is important to have access to all these technologies, but on the other hand it has to be safeguarded that the costs of this introduction have not to be bared by the SMEs. And therefore we need a good cooperation between industry, fintechs, politicians and of course SMEs to safeguard on the one hand consumer protection, data protection, but on the other hand as well access for our SMEs. So it was a pleasure to take part.
It is very important to understand how crucial are convenience for all partners, business to business, consumers relations, and competitive advantages. And I think that using digital tools by SMEs is creating the new opportunities and scaling up them. On the other hand, cashless transactions are the symptom and the symbol of going in the way of digitalization. But of course we need to start the way from simple cashless transactions and interactions and go in the direction of fully mobile transactions and interactions. It is important for our convenience as businesses and consumers. It is important for our marketing, and also it is important for taking into consideration some new possibilities done by digital tools.
Digitalization of businesses is a new opportunity for SMEs and startups to actually develop their businesses, and it brings them a new competitive edge. The discussion we just had actually showed that there is a lot of room for improvement and a lot of room for new technologies to bring in. I think that this is something that actually can help the businesses grow, go beyond their local national markets to use the full potential of the single market, and the regulators on the European level should be able to help this by providing a safe and secure environment for businesses to actually develop their core business without really taking into account a lot of issues that are linked with payments and securitization of their transaction. So I really wish that the SMEs in Europe can use this potential and use it in their benefit in order to fully develop their businesses.
We cannot abandon cash altogether in the immediate future. There are a couple of cons that I would like to mention. First of all, that transaction costs, in particular for retail, we will have to install devices, and of course all that would be costly, and those costs will be passed on to the consumer. But secondly, and it's been mentioned today throughout the debate, privacy is a very strong argument to not overblow it, not overdo it with the introduction of cashless payment, entirely because there is a risk that data will be passed on, sensitive data will be passed on to anybody, to the state, to secret services, and that is beyond the control of the user and the customer. And thirdly, we will have to think about what happens to those people that don't have access to a credit card or a debit card just because they don't have sufficient cash flow on their accounts. Now, what are we going to do with those people? Those people, we cannot exclude them from the economic cycle. They must be capable of grabbing a coffee in the morning and paying that coffee or any other item that is important for their daily life. Still, I think that the advantages of a cashless world are numerous, and they've been mentioned today throughout the discussion. And those advantages will lead to a situation, the Commission made this pretty clear, will lead to a situation in which, not violently and not in a rush, but slowly and gently, cash payment will phase out. And the Commission is ready to accompany this, and I think this is a very good strategy.